Okay, guys, welcome to this session here. I'll just be demonstrating how we can build CI/CD pipeline using a host of tools. Basically, we'll configure it using Git. We'll configure Git with Maven, Jenkins, Ansible, Docker, and we'll be deploying we'll be deploying this code to Docker Swarm as our QA and our Kubernetes as our prod. So basically, to get started, I'll go ahead and spin up the machines which we'll need for this job. Okay, so we'll need our manager machine. Okay, manager is creating. I'll proceed ahead and create other machines. So I'll call this Docker. That will be our Docker. I'll create a Kubernetes machine, which we'll use as our prod. Okay. And I'll just create another machine as our Kubernetes node. Just call it kub node 1. Okay, so our machines are getting spun up, so just give them a few minutes. Okay, good. So I'll just go ahead and start accessing them, and we'll start installing the software we need for these machines. Okay, Kubernetes node 1, I'll leave it here just to separate them. I'll have this Docker here, which will act as a Docker swarm, and our main machine will be up here. Okay, so let's make it bigger because this is what I'll be using quite a bit. All right, so the first thing we need to install in this machine, we need a user, right? We need a user for this machine, especially for these three. So go ahead and grab my user code. Okay, so users getting set up on that one. Let me do the same thing on this one. This one here. Okay, so user is good on this one. Good on that one. We'll give that a moment. Okay, it's ready. Now we have users on these three machines, and that's the only use, and these are the only machines we need to configure users, right? Now on this machine, like we'll be using all those tools to build our pipeline, CI/CD pipeline. So basically, on our main machine, we'll have to install Git, Ansible, Docker, Java, Maven, and Jenkins. So those are the applications which I'll start installing right now. So I'll start off with Ansible. Okay, Ansible is done. So go ahead and grab the scripts to install Docker. Now we need to install Docker. Install Docker on that machine. Basically for Docker, we have to install in pretty much all the machines. Okay, let's see whether Docker has been installed on this one. Not yet. Docker on this one. Yep, Docker is on that. Yep, Docker is good on this one. And let's see this one. Docker is good on that one. So only one which needs Docker, which is this one here. Okay. Now in the meantime, I'll just wait for it. Let's just be patient. Okay, so Docker is available in all the machines. Good deal. Now, excuse me. Now, the next thing we need to do, we need to install Java, Maven, and Jenkins on our main machine. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get started with Java. Okay, so Java is done. So I'll go ahead and configure Maven, which I'm installing now. Just grabbing the codes and pasting it just to save time. All right, Maven is installed on the main machine. Now, the next thing we need to install is Jenkins on the main machine. Currently installing Jenkins. Okay, I think Jenkins has been installed. Now, we need to set the path. Okay, good deal. So we have everything installed. Now let's just check. So Git version, we have Git. Let's see whether we have Maven installed here. Maven is there. Java is there. And let's see Ansible. Ansible is there. And the next thing which is left here is Jenkins. Service Jenkins status. Jenkins runs as a service and it is running. So we are good. So we have all the prerequisites, all the softwares we need, we have them installed. Okay. Now we're using this as our Docker swarm, right? So we have to enable it. We have to initiate it and we'll make it Docker swarm. So it is now a manager. So this machine is now our Docker swarm manager. It is saying here, okay? Now on Kubernetes, we have to install Kubernetes, right? Because we will be using it to deploy our production, right? Our production pod. So we have to do a quick installation of Kubernetes on this machine. Okay, we'll do the same thing on this one here. And we have to restart it so that the changes can take effect. All right, Kubernetes has been restarted. All right, now just grabbing the scripts to install Kubernetes in our machines, right? Then next thing we'll just initialize Kubernetes, basically. Okay, so we'll initialize Kubernetes, and we will make one machine as our Kubernetes manager. We'll give it some time. There you go. So this is our Kubernetes manager. So what we'll do, it's a good practice. Just grab that info, right? And since that's our Kubernetes manager, just run that command which I've grabbed. And of course, I have to deploy the Weave network on our master. And I need to grab the Kubernetes kube ADM link so that this one here can act as our node. There you go. So it joined. Okay. So basically, kubectl get nodes. Oops. kubectl get nodes. Right. So we have kube node 1 and Kubernetes, right? So we're pretty much set up. We're pretty much set up. So we have everything we need for us to start building our CI/CD pipeline. So basically, we'll be having those tools, about 5 or 6 tools, and we'll get started with the installation. Now, the number one thing we need to do now, just go to Google, just open any address page, and we'll start configuring our Jenkins. Basically, that's what we need to do, okay? So, so I'll just need to grab my manager IP address, and we'll start doing normal Jenkins configuration, okay? Okay, so just start the normal Jenkins setup, and here we'll install plugins. We'll do some, some configuration here, which I'm sure you're all familiar with. So it's echo okay, so we'll give Jenkins some time to complete the suggested plugin installation. So just give it admin. Yeah, I can give it just any email address you wish. And start using Jenkins. All right, so the first thing we need to do, come to manage Jenkins, and we start installing the plugins which we need for us to configure the CI/CD. So the first plugin you need here will be Ansible. That's what we need to install. And the second one will Trigger parameterized trigger. Those are the two plugins we need to install, and just click install without restart, and these two plugins is what we're installing. Okay, pretty fast. Is installed. Come back to manage Jenkins, global tool configuration, and here we need to set up our Java and our Maven. So just come to Java and my Java. My Java, and scroll down and do your Maven. Java and Maven install and save. Okay, so that's the first Jenkins configuration which we have to do. All right. Now, the second thing we need to do, go to new item, just create a package job. So we'll create just a job to make sure that our repository is working fine. Okay. So our repo, let me get it right now. What we'll use for this project is a new application called pet clinic application. So come to Git and just paste it there. This is the repo we'll be using. Okay. Build triggers. So we'll use policy M45. So build environment. Now build, right? We're invoking top level Maven target, and our default is the Maven we've configured. And the goal for Maven, as we know, it is for packages, just package. Okay, and save. Now on this job, we'll just build to make sure that the repo we've used, it is active and it works fine. So so we'll do that just to make sure that repo works. Good. So the repo is done. All right. So we know very well this the repo, workspace, target, and pet cleaning application. It is right there. Okay. So we can successfully create the repo. Now this this WAR file, right? It needs to be converted into an image and sent to Docker Hub, right? And we'll use Jenkins to do that. So how do we do that? Okay. Now, as you know, when you install Jenkins, sudo su Jenkins, Jenkins by default cannot communicate with Docker. When you say Docker PS, you see the permission deny, right? So we have to make sure that Jenkins can communicate with Docker. How do we do that, right? Basically, you basically enable Jenkins to communicate with Docker by running this script. Okay. Enter, right? And just make sure that Jenkins has the sudo privileges. Enter. Okay. Now, of course, you have to restart Jenkins so that all the changes can take effect. Service Jenkins restart. Give it some time for Jenkins to do what? To restart. Take some time. Okay, great. So Jenkins has restarted. Now, the next thing we need to do, we have to come to Jenkins machine and basically create a folder. This folder will tell you guys what we'll do with it. So make it dir /opt/deploy. Okay. Make dir /opt/deploy. Then you have to give it some permission to that folder. Right. You have to give Jenkins permission to that folder. folder we have created. Okay, now when you go inside this folder, it is /deploy. When you go inside, this folder is empty, right? The folder is empty. But what you need to do now, come back to your package job. Okay. Like a package job. Come back to your package job, right? Click configure. Go to build step, execute shell. So basically we'll be using a shell execution script to send our Wi-Fi to Docker Hub. Okay, so this is the script which we'll be using, right? So we are cd opt creating a Docker file, and as you've noticed, so there's a pet clinic Wi-Fi application, and we're sending it to my private Docker repository. So guys, I'll just grab the screen here and put my password, then I'll reshare. Perfect. So password is saved on the script, and I'll just click save, and I'll build now. So when you build now, the Wi-Fi will be sent to Docker Hub, the pet clinic Wi-Fi. It's getting pushed. There you go. So when you come back to this address, you see pet clinic Docker file and the WAR file has been created, right? And actually, when you go to our private Docker, you will notice that this is what I had initially, only letters. You'll notice that I have a version 2 here. Pet clinic. So it's still latest, so it should show version 2 sent here. Give me 1 second. It should be sent here. And let me make sure. Okay. So when you go to, let me just look at so it's version 2, which has been sent, right? So I should have version 2 sent to my private Docker Hub. So let me just log out, log back in, just to make sure that okay, so I can find it still. So the application should be sent here. So let me just review my package again. Configure, build. Okay, so let me do it again. RM and pet clinic. All right, so I've just cleared it again. And I make sure that my password is is correctly copied. Change my password again. save. Okay. So basically, if I do another build, I should have a version 3 here. I should have version 3. So oops, I think yeah, right here. Looking for my should have version 3 now. Send to Docker Hub. Okay, so it's pushed. Let me just refresh. Okay, it is still not pushing into Docker Hub. Why? Okay, let me come here. Yeah. Why is it not pushing to Docker Hub? Okay, guys, let me just pause this and troubleshoot why it's not pushing it to Docker Hub, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so I think there's some issue here, but I'll proceed because our main goal here, it is just to deploy the application to our Docker Swarm and our Kubernetes, right? So that's our goal here. So we can verify that, you know, our Docker file and our pet cleaning wire has been created on our Jenkins machine. So with this, it marks the end of our CI process. Now we need to continue with our CID process. Okay. Now for us to do, excuse me. Now for us to continue with CI/CD, basically we have to integrate Ansible with the two machines, because Ansible will use Ansible to pick up, to pick up the code and drop it to Docker, which acts as our QA, and the Kubernetes, which act as our production. Now we'll do a quick Ansible installations, etc/Ansible /Ansible CFG. And when you come here, of course, you have to enable host key checking on line 71. Okay, and of course, we have to configure our host, right? And we have to tell our Jenkins where are our hosts, right? So we're using QA as our Docker. So we just need to go grab our QA IP address. User equal simplex password 1. So we'll do this as our prod. Kubernetes will act as our prod, and we just need to grab our Kubernetes IP address. And we'll just grab the same information here. Okay. Okay, now we can just see whether Ansible is configured properly. Ansible. get Ansible or FNM ping. Right, so Ansible can talk to our Docker, which acts as our QA and Kubernetes, right? So we need to go to this location and basically and create our deployment shell script, right? So this is what we created. Now on this location, on this location, touch qa.yaml, right? And prod.yaml, qa.yaml. And on this script, basically, we will insert the content which will be deployed, right? So we'll basically the pet cleaning application, that's what we will insert here. And we're deploying it to QA, right? So, right, and we'll do the same thing to prod. Done, done. So you have saved, right? Now, what you need to do, come out of Jenkins and just make sure that Jenkins has the ownership, confirm to that file which you have created, and Jenkins has the ownership already. Right now, the next thing you need to do, just come to Jenkins. Come to Jenkins and create 2 jobs. Okay, now, now create 2 jobs now. The first job can be deploy. You can call it deploy QA. And just save. Okay. And the second job, let's get another dummy job and call it deploy prod and save. And just save. Okay. So deploy QA and deploy prod. You have saved, right? Now, what you need to do, come to package, the first job, configure, okay, post build, and remember the plugin trigger parameters on other projects, right? So projects to build, right? So which projects are we building now, right? What project are we building? Deploy QA, after package, deploy QA, right? Deploy QA. Now, and deploy QA, okay? And deploy QA, right? Select add predefined parameters and see predefined parameters. And here we will start giving the variables, right? So the variable BNO equal to $, bill. This is a Jenkins variable which you provide when you're using parameters trigger. So BNO, build the number, and just providing the Jenkins variable parameters, right? Then, if everything looks good, save, right? Now, time to deploy QA now. Configure. On this task here, I see this project is parameterized, okay? And select string parameter. And on the value, which value did you give? BNO, right? And this value give the value called, which means it is a builder number. Actually, it should be builder number, okay? Which means the builder number. And go to configure on the build step. Sorry, go to build step. Okay, and on the build step here, you click Ansible. We're installing Ansible playbook. We're invoking Ansible playbook, and with the playbook location, opt/deploy /qa.yaml. opt/deploy/qa.yaml. Right, then you scroll a bit, you'll see advanced, click advanced. Okay, add extra variable and the key for variable, right? The key for variable will use var, and for the value, you will $BNO. That's the variable we've provided. Okay, then save. Okay, then save. But we need to pass the same information, right? We need to pass the same information. Okay, on QA. So what on so QA to now what you need to do, come to QA, click configure, right? Go to post build action and trigger parameterized. Now project. So QA is looking at which project, guys? Deploy prod, right? Deploy prod. That's what QA is looking for, right? Deploy prod, and you add parameters, right? And predefined parameters. And on this box, P&O, product number, production number equals to P&O, the variables we give. Okay, P&O, $, and save. Okay, and save. Now, what we need to do, come to prod, configure. This project is parameterized, add parameter and string parameter and the name, right? P&O, that's what we provided, that's the variable we decided to go with, right? And on the build step, invoke Ansible playbook and all the path for the production, opt/deploy /prod.yaml. Prod.yaml. Right now, when you scroll a bit, you'll be able to see advanced. Click advanced. Click add extra variable, and the key for variable is var for the version, and the value is P&O, and save. So basically, we have done all the configuration which we needed to do. Okay. Now, what we know, first of all, what we have done, first of all, we have to configure our monitoring tool so that we know the project will be deployed here. So for us to get started, okay, when you say Docker PS, see, you don't have anything there. Now, what we need to do here, we have to configure a monitoring tool. So git clone, I'll just grab my my monitoring tool where I have all the code. Okay, so ls cd DevOps class code, ls cd src, ls cd Prometheus, ls cd kubemetrics, ls cd standard, ls. So kubectl create -f. Okay, kubectl create -f. Okay, so let's go back to Prometheus, cd Prometheus ls kubectl create fnf. Prometheus is created, and now we need to go and create Grafana. cd Grafana ls ctl create fnf Grafana created. Now kubectl get or kubectl get or fnm spent monitor. All right, so we have Prometheus and Grafana running, right? So what we'll do, we just need to grab our Kubernetes IP address, and we finish the configuration of our monitoring tool. So that's our Kubernetes IP address, which I've just copied. Come right here and what's our Grafana? Node port? So Grafana is right here, 31703. 31703. There you go. Grafana is properly created. Okay. So Grafana is running fine, but we need to configure Prometheus and Grafana. So we just need to grab IP address for the same machine, and the node port for Grafana is 32254. There you go. So everything else is integrated. Okay, and we'll skip, right? And I'll just need to integrate Grafana with Prometheus, right? So you know how to do that. Just grab the data source for Grafana, add data source, click Grafana, and here you provide basically the URL for Grafana, and data source is working right now. We have to import a dash 6417, and for Prometheus it is, there you go, right? So try to bring this up because we haven't deployed anything. I wanted you guys to see how we'll deploy this application to Grafana. So when you look at here, we don't have the application, right? So we are deploying application 1, 2, 3, right? Deploying application 1, 2, 3. So when you come here, it is opt/deploy ls, right? So the vi prod, right? So this application we're deploying to Grafana, okay? All right, so what we'll do now, we have to go to Jenkins here, right? And basically initiate a code change, and this version will be moved from package, it will go to QA. If everything is good on QA, it will deploy to Docker Swarm, right? So we'll come to Docker Swarm. Nothing is here. And when you come to Docker Swarm, you should have the 3 replicas there, right? So what we'll do, come to package, and on package here, configure, right? And we'll basically just do a quick code change, right? Source code. Okay. So we'll do a quick source code change, and basically that should trigger a build here. This is our source code change. There you go. It didn't even wait, right? So source code change has been triggered, right? Source code change has been triggered, and let's see. Let's keep our fingers crossed and make sure that it is created successfully. Pushed and it clicked deploy QA, right? Which is our Docker Swarm. So let's wait for QA to finish. There you go, QA successfully built and it triggered production, right? So it's triggered production and let's watch production. There you go, success, right? So it has been deployed, the application has been deployed. So when you come to Docker, yes, there you go. We're an application and let's go to a monitoring tool to see whether deploy 123 was sent to our monitoring tool. So let's can try and refresh 5 seconds just to make sure. And when you come here, you should see deploy. There you go. Deploy 123 has been sent to our monitoring tool, which is Grafana. So guys, that's the way you deploy application using all the tools we have studied in this course. Okay, so this is the application we are looking for. And actually, if you want, you can, if you come back here to Kubernetes, so kubectl get deploy, and that is deploy 123, say enter, you see kubectl, it has been deployed, right? And when you say kubectl describe this deployment, kubectl describe deploy, there you go. kubectl describe deploy, it is scaled up to replica, blah, 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 and it's true and is available, right? And desired replica. Desired is 1, updated total, available 1, 0 unavailable, guys. So we have successfully deployed our application to Docker Swarm, which is this, and to our Kubernetes, server, okay? And we're able to verify it on our Kubernetes monitoring tool. So guys, that's what I wanted to show you guys real quick, how to configure all these tools we've studied. And thank you so much. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.